Welcome to my channel Super Rare Coins. Today is best top 3 coins. Please don't skip this video, so let's get it started. The 2014 2p coin of the United Kingdom issued under the reign of Queen Elizabeth II represents a modern era of British decimal coinage that successfully blended national heritage with contemporary design. It is a small yet significant denomination in the post-decimal series that began in 1971, continuing to circulate widely as part of everyday commerce. The 2p coin, first introduced during the decimalization reform, symbolizes the shift from the ancient system of pounds, shillings, and pence to the modern decimal standard while still preserving the elegance and symbolism of British numismatic art. The 2014 issue stands as part of the long-running decimal coinage program that continued to carry the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, reflecting her enduring reign and the continuity of the monarchy through changing times. The obverse, front, of the 2014 2p coin features the fourth definitive portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank Broadley FRBS. This portrait was introduced in 1998 and remained on British coinage until 2015. It shows the Queen facing right, wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, one of her favorite royal jewels originally gifted to Queen Mary in 1893. Rank Broadley's portrait is notable for its realism and mature depiction of the monarch, contrasting with the idealized younger portraits of earlier decades. The artist aimed to convey dignity and humanity rather than a stylized image of royalty. His initials, IRB, appear below the neck surrounding the effigy is the Latin legend. Elizabeth II, D.G. Reg. Fid. Def. 2014, which expands to Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen Defender of the Faith. The lettering and portrait are crisply struck in copper-plated steel, showing the mint's precision and consistency in modern coin production. This portrait reflects the Queen in her later years, serene and composed, symbolizing her stability and service over 6 decades on the throne. The reverse, back, design of the 2014 2p coin features part of the Royal Shield of Arms, a design introduced in 2008 by artist Matthew Dent, replacing the earlier badge of the Prince of Wales motif used from 1971-2008. Dent's new design was revolutionary in modern British coinage because it divided the entire royal shield across the reverse sides of the 1p, 2p, 5p, 10p, 20p, and 50p coins. When placed together, these coins form a complete image of the royal shield, a creative representation of national unity and heritage. On the 2p coin specifically, the design displays the lower left section of the shield showing a segment of the Lion's Passant Guard Ant of England and the Lion Rampant of Scotland, separated by a horizontal band, the Cross of St. George. At the top of the design is the denomination 2p, with no numeral, a deliberate choice to maintain design continuity with earlier issues. The coin's artistic detail symbolizes the integrity of the United Kingdom's 4 nations under the monarchy while also celebrating modern design innovation. In terms of technical specifications, the 2014 2p coin was struck in copper-plated steel, replacing the earlier bronze composition, 97% copper, 2.5% zinc, 0.5% tin. That had been used from 1971 until 1991. The switch to copper-plated steel was made in 1992 to reduce production costs due to rising metal prices. The coin weighs 7.12 grams, measures 25.91 millimeters in diameter, and has a smooth, plain edge. Its reddish color and magnetic properties distinguish it from earlier non-magnetic bronze issues. The coin was minted by the Royal Mint, located in Llantrisant, South Wales, one of the most technologically advanced minting facilities in the world. Millions of pieces were produced for circulation in 2014, as well as high-quality brilliant uncirculated (BU) and proof examples for collectors. From a historical perspective, the 2014 2p coin belongs to the era of Elizabeth II's record-breaking reign, a period characterized by economic recovery, technological progress, and national celebration. BY 2014 Queen Elizabeth II had served over 60 years on the throne, marking the longest reign of any British monarch up to that point. The coin thus represents not just currency but also continuity, a tangible connection between the past and the present, uniting generations under one sovereign. The decimal coinage system had by then become deeply ingrained in British life, and the 2p coin played a vital role in small-value transactions such as vending machine shops and transport systems. Despite inflation reducing its purchasing power, the coin remained a staple of everyday commerce, reflecting its enduring practicality. The symbolism of the reverse design conveys deep cultural meaning. The royal shield is the heraldic emblem of the United Kingdom, combining the national symbols of England, Scotland, and Ireland. The portion seen on the 2p coin includes the English lions and part of the Scottish lion rampant, representing unity within diversity, a key idea in the modern Commonwealth and British identity. This modern design, introduced by Matthew Dent, reconnected contemporary coinage with centuries of heraldic tradition. He emphasized the constitutional stability of the monarchy and the role of the royal mint in preserving artistic and national heritage through innovative coin design. From an artistic standpoint, the 2014 2p coin blends traditional elegance with minimalist modernism. The crisp geometric alignment of the shield section creates a sense of precision, while the reflective copper surface gives it a warm tone and visual appeal. Under bright light, the fine lines of the heraldic shield catch the eye, creating subtle play between light and shadow. In mint condition, the coin displays a lustrous reddish sheen over time. Exposure to air causes oxidation, producing a natural patina that ranges from soft copper orange to darker brown, adding individuality to each piece. In numismatic terms, the 2014 2p coin is a common circulation issue, yet it holds notable collector interest as part of the complete Royal Shield design series. 2008-2015. Collectors value it for its place within modern British coinage chronology, featuring the final full year of the Rank Broadley portrait before it was replaced by Jodie Clark's fifth portrait in 2015. High-grade examples with full mint luster are sought after for complete date runs of Elizabeth II's decimal issues. Proof and BU versions, often found in Royal Mint sets, are prized for their mirror finish and sharply detailed reliefs. The production and quality control at the Royal Mint in 2014 continued to uphold centuries of excellence. Coins were struck under exacting standards using multi-ton hydraulic presses, ensuring consistent strike depth, alignment, and finish. Each piece is an example of the mint's ability to combine large-scale industrial output with artistic precision. The minting process involved plating steel blanks with pure copper, then striking them at high pressure to bring out the sharp details of both portrait and shield elements. An economic use, the 2p coin retained an important though declining role by 2014. As prices rose, fewer transactions required such small denominations, leading to public discussions about the future of 1p and 2p coins. Nevertheless, they remained legal tender and essential for exact change in shops and parking meters, reflecting the cultural attachment of British society to its physical coins. Even today, the 2p coin remains one of the most recognized denominations in the UK, symbolizing familiarity and continuity. Next, the 1960 halfpenny, 1/2d, coin from the United Kingdom, issued under the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, is a distinguished remnant of Britain's pre-decimal monetary system, a coin that carries with it the legacy of an empire, maritime heritage, and craftsmanship of the Royal Mint. The halfpenny denomination, worth 1/200th of a pound sterling, was small in monetary value but vast in cultural and historical symbolism. By 1960, this coin was nearing the twilight of its circulation life as Britain prepared for decimalization in the coming decade. The 1960 issue thus represents one of the final years of regular production for this famous bronze denomination that had been a fixture in British commerce for centuries. The obverse front of the coin features the first official portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Mary Gillick, a renowned British sculptor. This portrait, introduced in 1953 to mark the young Queen's accession to the throne, depicts her bare-headed and uncrowned, facing to the right with a laurel wreath adorning her hair, a symbol of victory, peace, and classical grace. The simplicity of this image conveys youthful dignity and optimism, capturing the early spirit of the Elizabethan era. Surrounding the portrait is the Latin legend, Elizabeth II Dei Gratia Regina F. Laughing Face, abbreviated from Elizabeth II by the grace of God, Queen Defender of the Faith. This inscription continues the long British tradition of combining sacred and sovereign authority on coinage. The Gillick portrait is admired by numismatists for its elegant realism and sense of serenity, marking a stylistic break from the more formal effigies of earlier monarchs such as George VI and George V. On the 1960 halfpenny, the image is crisp and well-centered, demonstrating the Royal Mint's mastery of engraving and striking. The reverse, back, of the 1960 halfpenny bears one of the most beloved designs in British numismatic history, the image of Sir Francis Drake's ship, the Golden Hind, a symbol of England's seafaring past and spirit of exploration. The ship is shown in full sail, viewed from the port side, with detailed rigging, billowing sails, and ocean waves beneath. This design was created by Thomas Humphrey Paget, one of the most prominent coin designers of the 20th century, whose initials, H.P., can be seen near the lower rim. The design first appeared on halfpennies in 1937 during the reign of King George VI, and it continued throughout the early reign of Elizabeth II, becoming instantly recognizable to the British public. Above the ship runs the inscription, halfpenny, and below it the date, 1960, is engraved. The composition perfectly balances national pride, artistry, and function, combining maritime history with modern craftsmanship. The technical specifications of the 1960 halfpenny reflect the enduring standards of pre-decimal British bronze coinage. It is composed of 97% copper, 2.5% zinc, and 0.5% tin, known as bronze. The coin weighs approximately 5.67 grams, has a diameter of 25.5 millimeters, and a plain, smooth edge. The coin was struck at the Royal Mint, Tower Hill, London, which was nearing the end of its long operational life before moving to Llantrisant, Wales in 1968. The 1960 issue had a large mintage with millions produced for general circulation, ensuring that it was a common sight in wallets and tills across the United Kingdom. Despite its abundance, its attractive design and historical importance have made it a favorite among collectors of British pre-decimal coinage. The historical background of the 1960 halfpenny is rooted in an era of post-war recovery and transformation in Britain. The country was modernizing rapidly under the reign of a young queen who had come to symbolize stability and renewal after the upheaval of World War II. The British Empire was transitioning into the Commonwealth, industry and trade were rebuilding, and society was embracing new technology and culture. The coinage of the period reflected these changes. While designs retained traditional symbols, production technology was becoming increasingly mechanized, improving consistency and detail. The 1960 halfpenny stood as a small but enduring link between Britain's imperial maritime past and its post-war modern identity. From a numismatic perspective, the 1960 issue is part of the final decade of production for the halfpenny denomination, which would cease circulation in 1969, just before decimalization. In 1971.AS, such these coins are historically significant as representatives of Britain's last generation of pre-decimal coinage. The coin is not considered rare, but well-preserved examples in brilliant uncirculated, BU, or proof condition are prized for their sharp detail, and original bronze luster collectors appreciate the coin's warm reddish-brown tone when fresh, which over time matures into deeper chestnut hues as the copper oxidizes naturally. Many collectors assemble complete Elizabeth II halfpenny date sets from 1953 to 1970, with a 1960 piece serving as a classic mid-series example. The symbolism of the Golden Hind is central to the coin's enduring appeal. Sir Francis Drake's ship circumnavigated the globe between 1577 and 1580, marking one of England's most celebrated maritime achievements during the reign of Queen Elizabeth I, the Queen's namesake. The ship became a national icon of courage, exploration, and naval supremacy. By featuring the Golden Hind on a coin during the reign of another Elizabeth, the Royal Mint subtly linked the modern monarchy with the golden age of English discovery and expansion. The design thus evokes continuity between the two Elizabethan eras, the 16th century's adventurous spirit and the 20th century's renewal and progress. The design quality of the 1960 halfpenny deserves special recognition. The coin exhibits a high level of relief and artistic depth for its small size. The fine detail in the ship's rigging, waves, and hull demonstrates the precision of mid-20th century die engraving at the Royal Mint. The bronze alloy allowed for clear impressions, making the coin visually rich despite its low denomination. Collectors often note how well the design ages, as the raised relief holds patina attractively, enhancing the depth and contrast over time. Economically, the halfpenny in 1960 had modest purchasing power, sufficient to buy small everyday items such as sweets, postage stamps, or matches. Yet its ubiquity made it an essential part of the daily economy. Tea was often used in schools, public transportation, and local shops, especially for making change in a time when smaller coins were necessary for exact transactions. This widespread use, combined with its appealing design, made the halfpenny a nostalgic object for generations of Britons who grew up before decimalization. By the late 1960s, the halfpenny had become increasingly obsolete due to inflation and the rising cost of living. It was officially withdrawn from circulation in July 1969 and replaced by no direct equivalent in the new decimal system introduced 2 years later. However, the 1960 coin continues to survive as a tangible link to a bygone monetary era, one that blended artistry, history, and craftsmanship in everyday pocket change. Next, the 1965 halfpenny, 1/2D, of the United Kingdom is one of the final issues of Britain's classic pre-decimal bronze coinage struck under the reign of Queen Elizabeth I. It belongs to the final generation of halfpennies produced before decimalization, representing a closing chapter in a long line of small denomination British coins that had circulated since medieval times. Issued in an era of post-war recovery and social transformation, the 1965 halfpenny stands as a small yet historically rich artifact that embodies the heritage, artistry, and evolution of the British monetary system. It was a coin that could be found in the pockets of ordinary citizens across the Commonwealth, a humble token of everyday trade, yet bearing the grandeur of royal symbolism and national pride. The obverse front of the 1965 halfpenny features the first official portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Mary Gillick, the same portrait that appeared on all British coinage from 1953 until 1970. The young queen is shown facing right with her hair bound by a laurel wreath and tied at the back, echoing classical depictions of peace and victory used since Roman times. This portrait was distinctive for its grace and simplicity, capturing a modern monarch in natural dignity rather than in regal grandeur. Surrounding the effigy runs the Latin legend, Elizabeth II Dei Gratia Regina F. Laughing Face: an abbreviation of Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen Defender of the Faith. This inscription connects Elizabeth II to the centuries-long tradition of divine monarchy blending faith and sovereignty in the nation's coinage. The Gillick design is admired for its softness of detail and lifelike quality, making it one of the most beautiful royal portraits in 20th-century British numismatics. 1965 strikes the portrait often appears clean and well-centered, demonstrating the precision of royal mint dies during this period. The reverse, back, design of the 1965 halfpenny features the iconic Golden Hind, the ship of Sir Francis Drake, designed by Thomas Humphrey Paget. The ship is depicted sailing majestically to the left with full rigging, open sails and ocean waves beneath the hull, a perfect symbol of England's seafaring legacy and global exploration. The design had been introduced in 1937 during the reign of George VI and continued under Elizabeth II, becoming one of the most beloved motifs in British coinage history. Above the ship is the inscription halfpenny and below it the date, 1965. Paget's initials HP can be found discreetly beneath the ship, a mark of his craftsmanship. The composition perfectly balances artistry and symbolism, celebrating Britain's maritime heritage, the Golden Hind having famously circumnavigated the globe between 1577 and 1580 during the First Elizabethan Age. By featuring this design under Queen Elizabeth II, the coin subtly links two eras of exploration, discovery, and royal endurance. The technical specifications of the 1965 halfpenny are consistent with earlier issues of the denomination. It was struck in bronze, consisting of approximately 97% copper, 2.5% zinc, and 0.5% tin. The coin weighs 5.67 grams, has a diameter of 25.48 millimeters, and features a plain, smooth edge. The 1965 issue was produced at the Royal Mint in London, continuing the long line of traditional bronze coin production before the Mint's relocation to Llantrisant, Wales in the late 1960s. The mintage of the 1965 halfpenny was substantial. More than 36 million pieces were struck, ensuring widespread circulation across the United Kingdom and some Commonwealth nations. Despite its commonness, the coin retains significant historical and sentimental value as it represents the end of an era in British coinage just before decimalization. From a historical context, the year 1965 was one of significant national and global change. Britain was transitioning socially, technologically, and economically under Queen Elizabeth II's modern reign. The British Empire had largely transformed into the Commonwealth of Nations, and Britain itself was embracing modernization with changes in industry, education, and currency systems. The 1965 halfpenny circulated during a period of monetary review, as the Royal Mint and Treasury were already planning the move toward a decimal currency system. Yet even in this moment of transition, the halfpenny remained a fixture in daily life, used for small purchases such as newspapers, sweets, and postage stamps. It was the smallest unit of value in circulation, yet essential for making exact change in a society that still relied heavily on coins for everyday transactions. The design symbolism of the 1965 halfpenny connects Britain's maritime triumphs with its contemporary global identity. The Golden Hind, representing the courage and exploration of Elizabethan England, recalls Sir Francis Drake's famous voyage that established England as a rising naval power in the 16th century. Its presence on the coin in the Second Elizabethan Age, 1950s-1960s, evokes a sense of historical continuity from the bold adventurism of the first Queen Elizabeth's reign to the technological progress of the second. The ship sails confidently forward, suggesting progress and destiny, themes resonant with Britain's post-war optimism and emerging international role. The artistic merit of the coin is undeniable. Paget's ship design is finely engraved with attention paid to every rope, sail, and wave. The small size of the coin did not limit its visual richness. In fact, its high-relief design and the reflective bronze surface combined to produce a striking aesthetic appeal, especially in uncirculated or proof examples. Over time, the bronze alloy tends to develop a warm patina ranging from reddish-brown to deep chestnut hues, which enhances the ship's relief and gives the coin a timeless antique beauty. From a numismatic perspective, the 1965 halfpenny is a highly collectible coin among enthusiasts of British pre-decimal currency. It belongs to the final sequence of halfpennies before the denomination was discontinued in 1969 and fully demonetized by 1971. Because of its large mintage, circulated examples are common and inexpensive, but high-grade specimens in brilliant uncirculated BU or proof condition are increasingly valued for their color clarity and luster. Many collectors seek to assemble complete date runs of Elizabeth II halfpennies, 1953-1970, and the 1965 coin occupies a prominent place in that set as one of the last of the traditional bronze issues before the Royal Mint transitioned toward decimal denominations. The economic value of the 1965 halfpenny at the time of issue was modest. It was equal to 1/480 of a pound sterling. Yet its presence was vital in small daily transactions, especially in an economy that still priced many goods in fractional penny values. Inflation throughout the 1960s gradually eroded its purchasing power, and by the late 1960s, the coin was often regarded as a nuisance in circulation due to its low worth. Nonetheless, it remained legal tender until July 31, 1969, marking the end of more than 1,000 years of halfpenny coinage tradition in Britain. The withdrawal of the halfpenny in 1969 closed one of the longest chapters in British monetary history. However, the 1965 issue endures as one of the best-preserved examples of the denomination's final years. Its combination of fine craftsmanship, historic symbolism, and connection to the first portrait of Queen Elizabeth II ensures its continued appreciation among collectors. Each surviving 1965 halfpenny serves as a miniature time capsule from an age of transition when old imperial. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe my channel for more videos.